Welcome back to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast. To jump into our second segment, staying in the NFC North from one quarterback to the next, Caleb Williams coming into rookie minicamp, his first sort of practice, official walkthroughs with his new teammates, along with with fellow first round pick Roma Dunze. They were all there at rookie minicamp, really giving the media an opportunity to show out and kind of show what has been sort of percolating over these last few days, learning the playbook, how far along have they gotten, and right away, sort of like the theme has been with Caleb Williams this whole offseason, right away, no surprise, he is deemed the number one quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Right off the jump to rookie minicamp, some quarterbacks, J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, Michael Penix, aren't obviously named the starting quarterback, but Caleb Williams, so much attention has been put on him. He's named the starting quarterback right off the bat, and already everything right out of the gate has been about Caleb Williams, this sort of above and beyond sort of attitude, this aura. I've seen that word been used a lot with Caleb Williams, the aura that he brings to the Chicago Bears, how just people have noticed that there is something different about Caleb, the number one quarterback, and being now the head guy for this Chicago Bears team, really embracing that and trying to really change things about how things are done in Chicago for that organization, asking a ton of questions, being the first in the building, being the last one to leave, just always picking the brain of people, trying to improve any which way he can. And one thing I thought was pretty interesting to note here, the Chicago Bears quarterback coach, Kerry Joseph, had a quote about just this sort of energy that Caleb Williams has brought, and something that wraps Caleb Williams up in one statement when he said, he's one of those guys who wants to know the why. You put something in, you put in a play, you talk about it, you give him the progressions, whether it's a run or a pass. Like, he wants to know why. Last night, being Friday night, probably about 10:30 or 11 o'clock, he texts me, hey, why are you doing this here? Why are we blocking it like that? Isn't that his guy to block? He just wants to know more. He wants to know those answers. And again, I think, not to say that I expect that, but just seeing all these interviews on Caleb Williams, how he talks to the media, how he talks to his teammates, how he presents himself, really, this doesn't really shock me to some extent, but wanting to go above and beyond, know this and that, and know why things are happening, I think not only says a lot about him, but it just shows to the coaches, obviously, but to his teammates that if he's knowing the why this is happening here, why they're doing such things like this in the run, in the passing game, or blocking schemes wise, I think it gives him a better opportunity to interpret that while in the huddle, giving out calls, giving out signals, audibling if he sees a defense, how that defense could defend these plays. And all of that sort of plays into Caleb Williams really knowing the playbook, trying to learn it, and really get to a point where he's almost teaching it to his other teammates, and where he exudes this confidence in a huddle where the other guys are looking at him, getting the plays, and they're like, all right, well, this guy seems like he knows what he's doing. Why would we question it or have any doubt? That's quarterback, legendary, generational type of stuff there from Caleb Williams. That is impressive in and of itself. And also to know why sort of Caleb Williams has been pretty successful early on in rookie minicamp. Well, before the pick was really announced, it was a foregone conclusion. So Chicago and Caleb Williams' personal quarterback coach, Will Hewlett, had the Bears give him some sort of footwork drills and cadences to practice before rookie minicamp even started. So that, along with just Caleb Williams' determination and the kind of person that he is, has really shown up already in rookie minicamp, and you get results like this. And again, Kerry Joseph talked about just his level of preparedness coming into rookie minicamp and how easily he's just picked up everything. He said, coming into this minicamp, he was light years ahead of info that he already had and he already knew. And that's just really the basic takeaways, my takeaways from all of this. The attention to detail is far above any sort of quarterback that I've read so far, that I've seen in rookie minicamp, or that has been talked about this past weekend. The precise, very accurate in rookie minicamp during the drills and everything like that. Hasn't really missed a lot of throws, and when he has missed, I thought this was also important to point out that he pulls his teammates aside, Roma Dunze or anybody else, and they really just break down everything right at that moment as it happens. He say he misses a throw, or they aren't on the same page. He goes over to them, they really break it down, talk to each other, and again, Caleb Williams talked about it afterwards, how he just hates making mistakes. He just wants to fix it there and now and really just get everybody on the same page. That was something I thought was very impressive, and only really a few missed throws here or there just to add on to the last point. Everything so far has just been falling in line as it should for Caleb Williams, and it just really highlights this overarching project plan that Chicago has in mind for Caleb Williams. They're really breaking it down into 3 phases. Phase 1 during the offseason program. The second phase will be monitored by Caleb Williams, trying to do it on his own during the summer break before they head into training camp. That'll be the sort of phase 2 facet of this big plan that the Chicago Bears have for Caleb Williams. And the third phase will obviously take place during training camp, where they're going to get more into detail on the playbook, into really just getting Caleb to know it like the back of his hand and get it to a point where they feel very confident in not only Caleb, just because he is the first round pick or the first overall pick and has been getting so much hype throughout this whole time, but because he truly knows it. And one thing that Chicago and Kerry Joseph and their offensive coordinator mentioned was that having him out there, be sort of as a coach out there for the receivers, the tight ends, the offensive line, is really where they want to get with Caleb Williams, knowing that he knows it just as well as they do, to go out there and execute it as efficiently as possible. Kerry Joseph, the passing game coordinator, Thomas Brown, in sort of the whole 3 phases breakdown of their major plan for Caleb Williams, they will really be assigned to the daily details, the fundamentals, and perfecting the cadences at, in their words, a top-level efficiency level. That's sort of what Kerry Joseph, the quarterback coach, and the passing game coordinator, Thomas Brown, are really trying to work on with Caleb Williams. Whereas the offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, he's sort of going through the whole idea, the general idea of being in the NFL for Caleb Williams, really the intricacies and the differences between college and the pros, and just getting Caleb to understand what an NFL offense is supposed to be like, how to communicate it to his teammates, really getting to know the plays, the audibles, and all these sort of things that come with the big picture focus on learning the Chicago Bears playbook. And really just reading that out and learning about what the Chicago Bears' main idea is with Caleb and how very detailed they're making it out to be. So far already, we're just past the first point of the offseason. It speaks volumes to not only the job that the coaches and the scouting department has done with Caleb Williams, but also Ryan Poles. He took a lot of hit and a lot of slack during the offseason for, kind of absorbing the negative of the past years with the Chicago Bears and their history with quarterbacks. People just put it on him without realizing that he just got there probably like a season or 2 ago, and he really has nothing to do with the history of the bad quarterback play in Chicago. He has really come in to try and change that, and I think he's done a great job of it, not only taking it seriously to bring in Keenan Allen, bring in DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, whoever else you want to name, but also to make this all very detailed, to bring in guys, the coaches and everything, to come in and really make Caleb Williams as perfect and as efficient as they have envisioned. A lot has been made about Caleb Williams already, and they want to make sure that they live up to those expectations, not because everybody else has them, because everybody else is applying this pressure to them, but because they know this you don't get a lot of opportunities to draft this generational type of player, number one overall, especially last year when you traded the pick away. To have this opportunity again, you can't really waste it at this point. So I thought that was very impressive for Ryan Poles and the entire Chicago Bears organization. And just on Caleb Williams, my last final thoughts on him to wrap up this segment. It seems that he's just obsessed with perfecting everything. That's what you want in a quarterback. I'm not comparing them. I'm not comparing them right now, but that's the sort of things you see from a Patrick Mahomes, from a Tom Brady, that just, again, that obsession with detail. I think that's a great sign with Caleb, and it all comes, again, with the almost mobilizing how Chicago has just seemed crazy about maximizing Caleb and just following along with Ryan Poles, how obsessed he is. Really I think falls in line with how obsessed, you could say, even Ryan Poles has been with really setting this up to be a perfect situation. I think so far it looks like, I do acknowledge the honeymoon phase. I think that's a real thing. You could say we're in that right now, but it's way better than saying, they're not on the same page here or there. If you're in the honeymoon phase right now, you're going according to plan, and I think that's the best evaluation anybody can give of any team at this point, just middle of May right now of the offseason. The Bears are in a good spot. It seems like Caleb Williams is picking up everything very efficiently. So how this all plays out, there is still a lot more story to tell for Caleb Williams in the NFL. But in the meantime, we will move on with the show. A few more topics to go over on today's episode. I mentioned Logan Ryan talking about Brock Purdy and earning a contract extension. That is coming up, as well as going over J.J. McCarthy's takeaways from rookie minicamp himself. And to wrap up the show, talking about the Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, and really doubling down on the running back by committee approach there. They're approaching in 2024. So those are coming up in just a few seconds. You're listening to the GSMC Chip Shot Football Podcast.